Hello everyone, hi, I'm Matt from Forbidden Planet London and welcome to another one of my recent comic release recommendation videos. So we're going to start off in the DCU with Batman 144 by writer Chip Zdarsky and artist team Andrea Sorrentino and Giuseppe Camuncoli. They're wrapping up Joker Year 1, which has been a weekly release for the last 3 issues, telling the first sort of moments after Joker became Joker. So in this story, we don't find out like, oh, he's Joe Bloggs from the street. We find out about what he gets up to after he falls into the vat of chemicals. This story is brilliant. It's jumping between timelines. You've got a possible future where the Joker is doing his like final plan, and it all links back to how he was formed. You've got split art with Giuseppe Camuncoli in the sort of past. So we've got, here we go, is a bit of the GCPD. Who could that mysterious clown figure be there? Who knows? Perhaps there's a clue in the title. And we've got the future storyline with Andrea Sorrentino here. Absolutely stunning, very like gothic, almost sort of Tim Burton-y perhaps, or a bit sort of 30 Days of Night for fans of that comic. Yeah, absolutely love this issue. Doesn't over-explain things, but gives you enough sort of new info that you learn a bit more about the Joker, but he's still the Joker, which is ideal. And then we're going to jump over to Wonder Woman number 6 by Tom King and who is it? Daniel Sampere. I absolutely loved this issue again. I'm really enjoying Tom King's run on Wonder Woman. This is sort of the first time Diana faces, I think, a big sort of physical threat. The forces that were gathered against her by the Sovereign last issue come in and they absolutely go hard at her. Like it's incredible. She's facing Grail, she's facing Giganta, getting absolutely like floored there. And it's how does Wonder Woman sort of stand up in the face of this sort of surprise attack. It's Tom King. It's absolutely great on the writing. You can't go wrong with that. And then we've got my personal favourite sort of backup stories at the moment from Tom King and Helen Bottega, which is sort of the superhero babysitters club with Damian Wayne and John Kent looking after Wonder Woman's young daughter, Lizzie, who will soon become the superhero Trinity. I absolutely love these stories. They're sort of a breath of fresh air after the sort of brilliantly heavy and serious main story. And it's really interesting just seeing Tom King just sort of stretching his creative muscles and trying something a bit outside his usual wheelhouse with a bit of sort of light family comedy. It's, just great fun. And then we're going to go back to Batman for Batman and Robin number 6 from Joshua Williamson. And we've got different artists on this issue from the regular Simone Di Maio. We've got Nicola Cismezija, I think is how you pronounce the name. Hopefully I got it mostly correct. I really enjoyed this issue again. It's a very different art style, but for an issue about the villain Zaz, it's great. It's very sort of scratchy. It's very unsettling in places. And there's some absolutely wonderful moments. My sort of favourite Damian moments are the ones where you've got awkward Bruce Wayne dad genuinely connecting, but not very comfortably, with Damian over sort of personal issues, which is a lovely scene later in this issue. So yeah, if you're fans of action and that sort of heart that I think brings out the best in both characters together, then this is a cracking issue for you. And then we're going to hop on over to the 616. Well, I say that. We're going over to Marvel, but we're going to go with the new Edge of Spider-Verse series, which is jumping around the Spider-Verse, of course, and introducing all sorts of new characters from all sorts of new Marvel Earths. The main story in this issue is from writers Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, which is introducing, let's find a picture of him, sort of a very popular new character. We've got Weapon 8. So this is basically the sort of what if Spider-Man was in the Weapon X program, which of course brings us Wolverine, who you might just about be able to spot there as well. This issue also has an appearance from Spider-Bite and a prologue story from the next big Spider event, focusing on Spider-Man 2099. And for fans of the incredibly well-received Madam Web film recently, she also features in this. So if you went to that film, and as I'm sure we all felt, oh, I really need to see more of Madam Web, this is the place to find her. I really enjoy these issues. They're sort of like short little anthology stories, and Weapon 8 is a really interesting new character that is getting a lot of interest from fans and being talked about a lot. So this is a really great place to jump in and learn more about his story right at the start. And then we're going to jump over to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, number 1, from Steve Orlando and Lorenzo Tometa. This series carries on from Steve Orlando and Sarah Pacelli's Scarlet Witch solo series that ended recently, and it finally brings the two siblings together for, God, I think it's been a few years since we last saw them together, hasn't it? So yeah, it's great. Steve Orlando knows how to write a great Scarlet Witch. His Quicksilver he's Quicksilver. You either love him or you hate him, and even if you hate him, you love to hate him. The art I really like. It's a sort of cross between, I'd say, or it has similarities to sort of Sarah Pacelli from the previous volume and Russell Dortman, who's been working on Thor and X-Men recently, doing a lot of the Hellfire Gala costumes. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. You've got Scarlet Witch helping people and Quicksilver helping people, but maybe not in the way that they would most like him to, as he is wont to. And then we're sticking with Marvel Publishing, but we're going to a bit of a different universe for Alien, Black, White and Blood #1. I really enjoy these series. They're anthology series, making use of only the colours black, white and blood, or red as it's more commonly known. Although, of course, they're able to stretch the colour there with the Alien franchise, because obviously the aliens are well known for their green blood. So we get a little bit of a different colour palette in this series, which is great. Let's find you all a good page that sort of displays this. Here we go. So you've got sort of your grey tones with the alien, you've got some red, you've got the green, like it makes it stand out a bit more. And yeah, I love these series. You get all sorts of different stories. We've got Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing again, who seem to be all over the place at the moment, which is brilliant because they are absolutely on a hot streak. We've got Stephanie Phillips and Ryan Cady, again, writers that are really coming into their own. And yeah, if you want something in the Alien universe, sort of in and out, one and done stories with a different sort of art style, then this is ideal for you. And then we're going to go over to sort of the indie sphere. We're going to go with Animal Pound #2 by Tom King and Peter Gross, which I absolutely love. This is basically Animal Farm reimagined for the modern day. And particularly in this issue, it comes into focus that we're not analysing communist Russia. We're actually going to be talking about modern day America. Don't let the internet hear me say that though. I hear there's some quite angry people out there. So yeah, this is great. This is Tom King in his wheelhouse talking about the country he lives in and the issues faced by democracies of all sorts. And yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic parable for the modern age, and it does a great job, I think, of not saying these people are good or bad, but showing that, look, there's people on all parts of the spectrum when it comes to politics and societies, and this is where people go wrong and this is where people can go right, and it's all done with dogs and cats and rabbits. So what more can you want? So next we're going to go over to our friends at Distillery for Blasphemous #1 by Mirka Andolfo. This is a great #1. It's a really interesting concept. You've got this character here, the main character, Clelia. She opens the book making a deal with the devil. Is that literal or metaphorical? We don't quite know yet, but a deal is made, and she effectively, as far as I can tell so far, gets to live forever and forget some particularly difficult memories. When we catch up with her in the present day of this story, she is a super famous, sort of like Taylor Swift level megastar, for a sort of religious organisation that may have some ulterior financial motives going on. And this is great. It's a really interesting story looking at sort of, you've got elements of the supernatural, you've got elements of sort of loss and trauma, and you've got this sort of, it's a little bit saucy, so I'm going to find us some art that we can show on the website. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. So we've got Clelia being interviewed here. It's a really just gorgeous set of colours. And Mirka Andolfo, obviously, is both the writer and the artist, knows exactly what they want from it and puts it on the page. I absolutely loved this. Like, I've really enjoyed all of Distillery's #1s, and I would recommend popping down and grabbing as many of them as you can. And then we're going to wrap up this week with 2 comics. We've got a sort of new universe, I think, or at least interconnected series from writers Ram V and Dan Waters. We've got, first up, we've got The One Hand #1 and The Six Fingers #1. We've got basically a story here, kicks off in the one hand from Ram V and Lawrence Campbell. And it's sort of your typical kind of like cop on his last day, he's retiring, but he's got one last case that he needs to come back for and sort out. But there's a bit of a twist because he's already solved this case twice. And he's definitely solved them. There's no doubt in it, but the murder's happening again. And that then sort of ties in with the Six Fingers #1, where we follow the murderer, which is really interesting. He sort of starts off as a, what do you call it, just sort of normal, sort of working kind of guy. He wants to better himself through academia, and he commits a murder on the side. It's really interesting. I don't want to reveal too much, but it's all set in the sort of almost Blade Runner-y sort of future. And it's really interesting seeing both the hunt for the killer and the killer himself. And yeah, the art is absolutely brilliant. We've got Lawrence Campbell in #1. You've got your sort of typical, just sort of beautiful sort of dark shades, bits of colour like neo-noir. And then we've got Sumit Kumar in the Six Fingers, which it gives me a real sort of nail biter kind of vibe, this book, if you like that, from Joshua Williamson. You can see it here, just sort of bright colours, big expressions. Yeah, highly recommend both of these. And even better, we had the two writers, Ram V and Dan Waters, and we had artist Lawrence Campbell and designer Tom Muller in the Forbidden Planet London store at the weekend for the signing. So we've got loads of signed stock, both of these series and their past work. So yeah, I'd recommend come in, pick those up, you won't regret it. So that's everything for this week. You can find everything that I have been recommending today at our Forbidden Planet London store and all our other stores, and forbiddenplanet.com online. It's been lovely chatting with you all, and I hope I'll see you again soon.
If you're enjoying watching Forbidden Planet TV and you're enjoying watching us talk to the world's most interesting and accomplished filmmakers, authors, artists, musicians, creators, subscribe right here. See you soon.